Five, four, three, two, one. Hello and welcome everyone to Women's Speakers Association's WSA TV. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host, producer, and digital media and marketing strategist with transformtoday.com. I'm here in San Diego today. It's a beautiful day and we have a beautiful topic, an important one. It's all about how to reinvent yourself, and I have some experts here who are ready to share with you how to reinvent yourself. So I'd like to first say hi to them. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for being here. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a holistic health psychologist and soul strategist. And what that means is that I think the essence of who we are, which is the soul, is the most important part of any reinvention and also our way to align in life. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today.
Great. Where can people find you online?
So I am at www.drcatherinetkelly.com, and right at the top of my website, you can find all of my social media links.
Wonderful. And hi, Annette. How are you?
I'm great, Laura, and I'm really glad to be here. I'm joining you from sunny, cool San Antonio today, and I'm a reinvention artist. That's my niche as a professional coach, and I can be found at espeakers.com. Just do a search for Annette Craven, and I'll be happy to hear from anyone who wants to reach out.
Wonderful. I'm really glad both of you are here. You're both of what you do inspired me to bring you on to talk about reinventing yourself. So what I want to do is learn about the advice you have and why should one reinvent themselves, or where should they start, Catherine?
Well, the number one thing that I talk about with clients and workshop participants is the whole idea of aligning yourself with who you are. And so the word soul strategist confuses people, but really what it is it's me, a strategist, helping you figure out at that deepest level who you are. And really, it's the realignment that takes place that I think helps us reinvent. And that's really, and I'm going to show my book here. This is my book, Soul Health, Aligning with Spirit for Radiant Living. And that's the entire purpose of the book, is to help people get to know themselves at such a deep level that they align themselves for what I call radiant living. And that takes them through the rest of their lives with that blueprint.
And what advice do you have for people to start?
I think the number one thing, I think the number one thing is to listen to that voice within. I can't tell you how many people have ignored that gut reaction and then found out later that they really should have followed it. So it's first listening, learning to trust that, and thirdly, taking that action that will help you get into that alignment state. That's where your radiance is. That's what helps you get to those highest levels and get you to that place where you're really taking off in life.
And that's what we want to do. It all starts with your soul and connecting with it. It's what I'm getting from you, right?
Yeah,
And
that
that
deepest
alignment,
level. Yeah.
that inner ally, using our soul as our inner ally. I think that's a term I've heard you use.
Yes.
Terrific. Well, thank you. It gives us something to think about, where to start. And Annette, I'd like to go to you. And so, how does one reinvent themselves? Now that they might be somewhat aligned.
Yeah, and I love what Catherine had to say about alignment, because it's really about knowing what our core values are and knowing whether we're living as a victim or our highest self on the range of energy. And there are ways to assess where you're at. I use an energy leadership index to help with that. But bottom line, I couldn't agree with Catherine more. It's finding out, who are you really? What are your values? What's your purpose? Where do you want to be in life? Only then can you reinvent yourself.
Wow, focusing on where you want to be and where you want to go is really important. And
Yes.
once you're aligned and you're focused, now you're on the on-ramp to reinvention. Because if you don't know where you're going and you don't know who you are, then it's really hard to get there.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
both of you would agree, right?
Absolutely.
So you two are both experts in aligning people and helping them visualize and get to the next step in their reinvention. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about who you work with and what you do, Annette. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
thank you,
Actually,
Laura.
yeah, thank
Go
you.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, the best source of expertise is having lived through the emotional nudist camp several times in your life. When you go through trauma or you feel like you've hit the bottom, and you find a way through the help of mentors or coaches or professionals like Catherine who can help you get alignment and get back on the on, as you mentioned. I think I think our experience is the number one source of our expertise, and to share that, especially with women, uh, for me, I feel that's my calling. Women help me, so I want to help women.
Mm, that's a beautiful thing. So tell us about your story of how you came to this work.
Well, I have a long history. I've worked in many industries. I was a military dependent, so I lived in different countries. I've done a lot of work with women and with organizations around the world. And the one thing that is always constant is that people encounter change, and many times that change is a result of a trauma or an event that takes their control out of their hands. And so I help them see that they have the power of choice. And there are 5 steps to making that choice and adapting to the new you. So, yeah, personally, my experience was the stripping of my credibility on the international stage and realizing that nobody could do that to me without my permission. So I made the choice to take it back.
Wow. And how did you do that?
Well, I did a lot of soul searching. Thank you, Catherine. I love that she said that. I did a lot of soul searching. I reached out to the people who had been my coaches, my mentors, my faith stars, my spiritual sages, and I listened to what they had to say, and I did a lot of introspection, and I did a lot of learning, and I identified what choices do I have and what are the possible outcomes to those choices. And I had a lot of discussions with my best friend and love of my life, my husband. And we worked through this together. I think it's key that you have um, people who are with you, who believe in you, who can ask the right questions and help you get back on stage.
It sounds like you were using your own 5-step process there.
I absolutely did. Yes, thanks.
Wonderful. And we'll outline that in the description as well
Perfect.
on our blog at wsatv.com. And so, Catherine, tell us about who you work with and what you do with them.
Yeah, so historically, most people who come to therapy are females. So there are, historically, it's always been that way. And so the vast majority of my population that I work with are females. But the key is that I use the word evolve a lot. And the people who come to me are people who really want to evolve. And even on my website, I say it's not enough for me to help someone heal. I want them to evolve beyond the point where they came in the office, because that's really how we get on that really magical on ramp the word you used earlier. And to go back and, mention what Annette said is that we have to do the soul searching. And so it's the people that come to me who want to do the soul searching that I thrive in working with, because you already know they're motivated, you know that they want to dive deeply and really figure themselves out. And so it's really those people who want to evolve that I work with. And that's probably the bottom line for me. As long as you want to evolve, I'm in. I want to be there with you.
And so, how did you come to this work?
Well, some of it is personal for myself. My father had an accident when I was 9 years old, and you almost immediately see the world around you shift and change. And fast forward, I went into my career knowing that I wanted to work in the medical field. And so I was a professor at a medical school, and I immediately, very, very quickly, within a year, realized that there were 2 major things missing. One of them was that in our medical society, we don't treat the whole person. And number two, to me, the most important thing is we don't treat the soul. So if someone is broken at such a deep level, you can do all you want to fix the physical part of them or the psychological part of them. But if you don't really help them work through figuring out how each and every part of them comes together, you are not going to align them. And so really that's where I come from, is both personal experience, and then watching, hundreds of medical patients really not get what they wanted or needed because of the way that the medical system is created. So when I launched into private practice, that became my mission, is to, number one, treat the whole person. And then secondly, to really teach them to dive deeply within, to teach them how to listen to themselves from that deep level.
Wow, what a great story, to take it from the medical profession to the soul level, because it really
Absolutely.
is, it is missing. So both of you have put your heart and your soul, your wisdom, and into the lives of others and helping them reinvent themselves and do much more. And now we're here together through Women Speakers Association. So I'm really curious to know, what value has Women Speakers Association brought to your life, and why did you join? Annette, why don't you share?
Sure. Well, I came across Women Speakers Association from a colleague who lost her dominant arm in a tragic accident and had an incredible story to share about being better, not bitter. And she raved about what Women Speakers Association had done for her in helping her to find her voice and share her voice. I mean, these amazing stories that we have about how we have overcome difficulty. Uh, there's an audience out there who can learn from and benefit from the wisdom that we have. And Women Speakers Association is the only organization I know of that lifts up and raises up the voices of the women who have a story to share.
Oh, and you were getting a lot of hearts and high fives on the live stream. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
watching. Thank you for mentioning that. And Catherine, I'm curious, from your point of view, what is the value of Women Speakers Association?
Really, there's lots of values. And I think the most important value of the Women's Speakers Association is the power of women themselves. There is nothing better than the collective power, the collective wisdom, the collective energy that women bring. And so I've been a speaker for a long time, but when I came across this organization, I was in, because it was one of those things where, when women support women, we not only heal and grow, we evolve. And to me, that's where our world is supposed to go, is to come together so that we can evolve. And so Women's Speakers Association is the perfect networking, is the perfect educational center. So it's been really, really helpful for my own progression. And I just love the people I've gotten to know.
I love that word, evolve. It's what you both do for people in your own lives, and that's what we do as a Women Speakers Association for women speakers. And we do come together as that collective. And if you're wondering how you can get involved, simply join us at joinwsa.com. We have a free level of membership available for you, or you can do what Annette and Catherine have done, which is join us at the premier level, where you get more visibility and access to opportunities and ways we help you get more visibility to your speaking business, for your speaking business. So whether you're a newbie or you're experienced, we work with you and we collaborate as an organization, as a sisterhood at joinwsa.com. You can find out all the information. Ladies, you have been tremendous. You've been inspiring. You've given of your heart and your wisdom. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the richness of Women Speakers Association and on WSA TV.
Thank you,
Thank
Laura.
you.
Thank you. And we'll be
Thanks.
back with another episode of WSA TV next week. In fact, it's a special edition because we have the Voices of the 21st Century book launch, which is exactly what Annette, you said. It's women telling their story. We have a book with 30 women, 30 WSA Premier members who have told their stories. And there will be more books like that. So if you want an
Yay.
opportunity to be in those
Wonderful.
books, you will get that. And we'll talk about that on the live stream next week, starting at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, at right here on Women Speakers Association's Facebook page. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.